I never thought the man who crushed my heart would one day stand in my office, resume trembling in his hands, begging for a job I had the power to give or take away. 4 years ago, my white husband became a doctor and threw me away like yesterday's trash. Said I didn't fit his new image, that my brown skin would hold back his glittering career. While he celebrated with his rich family and blonde replacement, I was signing divorce papers in the back of a greasy diner, wondering how love could turn so cold so fast. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It's the perfect foundation to build an empire. Now he's desperate, his connections have dried up, and somehow fate has delivered him right to my door. The woman he thought would never amount to anything is about to show him exactly how wrong he was. If you're watching this story unfold, hit that subscribe button and tell me where you're watching from, because you won't believe how this ends. I wake up at 6:30 every morning to the sound of Ethan's alarm. He never hears it the first time. I reach across our small bed and shake his shoulder gently. "Time to get up, baby," I whisper. He groans and rolls over, burying his face in the pillow. His dark hair sticks up in all directions. Even half asleep, he looks like he belongs in a magazine. I've always wondered what he sees in me. Plain Naomi Carter from the south side of Chicago. Nothing special about my brown skin or my ordinary face. But he chose me. That has to mean something. I slide out of bed and pad to our tiny kitchen. The coffee maker is already set up from the night before. I learned early in our relationship that Ethan needs his coffee before he can think straight. Medical school doesn't leave room for slow mornings. The apartment is quiet except for the gentle bubbling of the coffee maker. Sunlight streams through our one good window, the one that faces east. I bought yellow curtains last month to make the place feel brighter. Ethan said they were too much, but he didn't ask me to take them down. I pour 2 cups of coffee. Black for him, cream, and sugar for me. The routine feels safe. Familiar. For 3 years, this has been our life. Me working double shifts at the diner to pay rent while he studies. Him staying up until 2 in the morning with his medical textbook spread across our kitchen table. It hasn't been easy, but love isn't supposed to be easy, right? "Naomi?" Ethan's voice carries from the bedroom. He sounds more awake now. "Coffee's ready," I call back. He appears in the doorway wearing the blue scrub top I ironed for him yesterday. His green eyes look tired, but there's something different about them today. Something bright. "You look happy," I say, handing him his mug. He takes a long sip and smiles. "Check the kitchen table." I turn around. There's an envelope sitting next to his stack of textbooks. Official looking. Heavy paper. My heart starts to race. "Is that—" "Open it," he says. My hands shake as I pick up the envelope. It's addressed to Dr. Ethan Whitmore. Not yet, but soon. I tear it open carefully and unfold the letter inside. "Dear Mr. Whitmore," I read aloud. "We are pleased to inform you that your application for residency at Northwestern Memorial Hospital has been accepted." The words blur together. My chest feels tight with joy. 3 years of sacrifice. 3 years of ramen noodles and secondhand clothes and me working overtime so he could focus on school. It was all worth it. "You did it," I whisper. "You actually did it." Ethan sets down his coffee mug and pulls me into his arms. He spins me around our small kitchen until I'm dizzy and laughing. When he sets me down, his hands cut my face. "We did it," he says. "I couldn't have made it without you, Naomi. You know that, right?" I nod, too emotional to speak. This is it. This is our moment. All those nights when he was stressed about exams and I rubbed his shoulders. All those times I ate peanut butter sandwiches for dinner so we could afford his textbooks. All those sacrifices finally mean something. "My parents are going to be so proud," he says, reaching for his phone. I have to call them right now. I watch him dial. His face lights up when his mother answers. "Mom, it's me. I got it. Northwestern accepted me." His voice is pure joy. Yes, really. I start in 2 months. I can hear his mother crying on the other end of the line. Happy tears. Rich people cry differently than poor people. Their tears sound like relief instead of fear. What? Tonight? Mom, that's so last minute. Ethan glances at me, then away. I don't know if Naomi can make it. She's working a double shift. Something cold settles in my stomach. I'm not working tonight. He knows I'm not working tonight. Okay, fine. We'll be there at 7. He hangs up and turns to me with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. My parents want to celebrate dinner at the country club. The country club, where his parents eat every Friday night, where the waiters wear white gloves, and the cheapest thing on the menu costs more than I make in a day. That's wonderful, I say, forcing a smile. I should probably change into something nice. Actually, Ethan says slowly, maybe you should skip this one. You know how my parents get about their member events. It's all stuffy old people talking about golf and stocks. You'd be bored out of your mind. The cold feeling spreads through my chest. I don't mind being bored, Ethan. This is your big moment. I want to celebrate with you. He runs a hand through his hair. It's a nervous habit I've learned to recognize. It's just, they're inviting some important people tonight. Other doctors, hospital administrators, people I need to make a good impression on. And I wouldn't make a good impression. That's not what I meant, but his eyes won't meet mine. You know how you get around my parents, all quiet and uncomfortable. I don't want you to feel out of place. Out of place, like I don't belong in his world of white tablecloths and crystal glasses. Like my brown skin and cheap dress would embarrass him in front of the important people. I want to argue. I want to remind him that I've been supporting him for 3 years while he chased his dream. I want to tell him that I deserve to be there when he celebrates. Instead, I nod. Okay, you're probably right. I should stay home and catch up on some things anyway. Relief floods his face. You're the best, Naomi. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Maybe we can have our own celebration tomorrow night, just the 2 of us. He kisses my forehead and heads back to the bedroom to get ready. I stand in our kitchen, holding his acceptance letter, feeling smaller than I've ever felt in my life. The coffee tastes bitter now. By 7 o'clock, Ethan is gone. He spent an hour getting ready, changing shirts 3 times before settling on the navy blue one his mother bought him for Christmas. He used the expensive cologne I saved up to buy him for his birthday. I sit on our couch in my pajamas, eating leftover Chinese takeout straight from the container. The TV drones in the background, but I'm not really watching. I keep thinking about the look on his face when his mother called. The way he lit up talking about important people and good impressions. The way he looked at me when he said I'd be out of place. My phone buzzes. A text from my best friend Carmen. How did the letter go? Is he in? I type back, yes, he got into Northwestern. OMG! You guys must be so excited. Where are you celebrating? My fingers hover over the keyboard. I could lie. I could say we're having a quiet night in, but Carmen would see right through that. He's at dinner with his parents. I stayed home. The 3 dots appear immediately. Carmen is typing. What do you mean you stayed home? This is huge. Why aren't you with him? I don't know how to explain it without sounding pathetic. How do I tell her that my boyfriend of 3 years doesn't want me around his family when there are important people watching? How do I admit that I'm not good enough for his world? Just tired, I type. Long day. Carmen calls me immediately. Don't you dare lie to me, Naomi Carter, she says before I can even say hello. What really happened? Carmen has known me since we were 12. We grew up 3 blocks apart, both raised by single mothers who worked multiple jobs to keep us fed. She can read me like a book. He said I'd be uncomfortable, I admit. That it was all stuffy old people talking about golf and stocks. And you believe that garbage? It's not garbage. Carmen, you've met his parents. You know how they look at me. Like you're not good enough for their precious son, Carmen says bluntly, because they're racist snobs who think their money makes them better than everyone else. I flinch at the word racist. Ethan's parents aren't racist. They're just particular. They have standards. They want the best for their son, don't they? It's not about race, I say weakly. Honey, Carmen's voice is gentle now. When is the last time Ethan took you to a family event? When is the last time he posted a picture of you on social media? When is the last time he introduced you to anyone from his medical school? I open my mouth to answer, but no words come. Because the truth is, Ethan keeps me separate from the rest of his life. He says it's to protect me, to keep me away from the stress and drama of his career. But maybe Carmen is right. Maybe he's just ashamed of me. I have to go, I whisper. Naomi, wait. I hang up and turn off my phone. I can't deal with Carmen's questions right now. I can't face the truth she's trying to make me see. Instead, I curl up on our couch and pull the yellow throw blanket over my head, the one I bought to match our yellow curtains. The one that makes our apartment feel like home. At least, it used to feel like home. Now it just feels like a place where I wait for Ethan to come back from his real life. The one that doesn't include me. I must have fallen asleep on the couch because I wake up to the sound of Ethan's key in the door. The apartment is dark except for the glow of the TV. The clock on the cable box reads 11:47. Naomi, he whispers, you awake? I sit up slowly, blinking in the dim light. Ethan looks different somehow. His hair is perfectly styled. His shirt is still crisp. He smells like expensive wine and his mother's perfume. How was dinner? I ask. He sits down next to me on the couch, but there's more distance between us than usual. Really good. You would have liked the food. They had this amazing salmon dish with some kind of citrus glaze. I nod like I care about salmon I'll never taste at a restaurant I'll never see. Did you meet the important people? A few. He loosens his tie. Dr. Richardson was there. He's the chief of surgery at Northwestern. Really impressive guy. He knows my father from the university board. Of course he does. In Ethan's world, everyone knows everyone. It's all connections and networks and people who can open doors with a phone call. That's great, I say. I'm happy for you. Ethan studies my face in the TV light. You don't sound happy. I am. I'm just tired. You're upset that I didn't take you tonight. It's not a question. He knows me well enough to read my moods. No, I lie. You were right. I wouldn't have fit in with all those fancy people. Something flickers across his face. Guilt, maybe. Or relief that I'm not going to fight him on this. It's not about fitting in, Naomi. It's about timing. Tonight was important for my career. There will be other celebrations. When? What do you mean? When will there be other celebrations that I can come to? When will I get to meet the people in your life? When will I stop being the girlfriend you hide at home? The words come out sharper than I intended, but I can't take them back now. Ethan sighs. You're not hidden. We're in different worlds right now. But that's going to change. Once I start my residency and things settle down, it'll be different. Different how? I don't know, just different. He reaches for my hand. Look, I know this is hard. I know you've sacrificed a lot for me, but we're almost through it. In a few years, I'll be an attending physician. We'll have money and stability and all the things we've been working toward. And then what? You'll finally be proud to have me on your arm? I'm proud of you now, he says, but his voice lacks conviction. You're the strongest person I know, Naomi. You've kept us afloat while I chased my dreams. I could never do what you've done. The compliment feels empty, like something he's saying because he knows he should, not because he means it. I'm going to bed, I say, standing up. Naomi, wait. He catches my hand. Don't be like this. Today should be a good day for us. It is a good day, I say. You got everything you wanted. I leave him sitting on the couch and walk to our bedroom. As I brush my teeth, I catch my reflection in the bathroom mirror. My brown skin looks ashy in the harsh fluorescent light. My hair is flat on one side from sleeping on the couch. I look tired and small and ordinary. Nothing like the kind of woman who belongs at country club celebrations. Nothing like the kind of woman a successful doctor should be proud to claim. I climb into bed and pull the covers up to my chin. Ethan joins me a few minutes later, sliding in beside me like everything is normal. "Good night," he whispers, pressing a kiss to my shoulder. "Good night," I whisper back. But I lie awake for hours, staring at the ceiling and wondering when loving someone started to feel like apologizing for who I am. The morning after Ethan's celebration feels different. Not bad different. Just strange. Like something shifted while I was sleeping, and now everything looks a little off. Ethan is already dressed when I wake up. He's standing in front of our small mirror, adjusting his tie. The same navy blue one from last night, but today it looks more serious. More important. "You're up early," I say, sitting up in bed. "Meeting with Dr. Richardson at 8, he says without turning around. He wants to introduce me to some of the other residents before I officially start. That's nice of him. Yeah. Ethan checks his phone. I might be late tonight. We're all going out for drinks after. Team bonding, you know. I nod like I understand. Like I know anything about team bonding with important doctors. He kisses my cheek on his way out. Have a good day at work. You too. The apartment feels empty after he leaves. Not just quiet, empty. Like all the life went out with him. I get ready for my shift at the diner slowly. My uniform feels scratchy against my skin. The name tag that says Naomi in cheerful red letters feels like a joke. The diner is already busy when I arrive. Morning rush hour. Coffee and eggs and bacon for people heading to real jobs. Important jobs. The kind of jobs that matter. You look like somebody died, says Marcus, one of the line cooks. He's been here longer than anyone, including the manager. Everything okay? Fine, I say, tying my apron. Just tired. But I'm not fine. All day, I feel like I'm watching myself from the outside, pouring coffee, taking orders, wiping down tables, going through the motions while my mind is somewhere else. I think about Ethan sitting in meetings with doctors who've known his father for years. I think about him laughing at jokes I wouldn't understand. I think about him fitting in perfectly while I serve scrambled eggs to strangers. During my break, I sit in the back alley behind the diner and call my mother. "Hey, baby," she says. Her voice is warm and tired. She's been working the night shift at the hospital laundry for 15 years. "How's my girl?" Ethan got into his residency program. "That's wonderful. You must be so proud." I am. The words feel hollow. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "When you and Daddy were together, did you ever feel like you weren't good enough for his world?" There's a long pause. My father left when I was 8, found himself a younger woman with lighter skin and bigger dreams. Mom never talks about it much. What brought this on, Naomi? I tell her about the dinner, about being left at home while Ethan celebrated with his family and their important friends, about feeling invisible in my own relationship. "Honey," Mom says softly, "when someone loves you, they want to show you off. They want the whole world to know how lucky they are to have you. But what if I really don't fit in? What if I just embarrass him? Then he's not the man for you. Mom, listen to me. Your father used to say things like that. Said I didn't understand his ambitions. Said I'd hold him back. You know what I learned? When a man starts making you feel small, he's already gone. He's just looking for an excuse to leave." My chest tightens. Ethan's not leaving me. I hope not, baby. I really do. But promise me something. What? Don't lose yourself trying to be what someone else wants. You're perfect exactly as you are. After we hang up, I sit in the alley for a long time. Cars drive by on the street in front of me, people heading to their lives, their jobs, their families. I think about Ethan's acceptance letter, about how happy he looked reading it, about how that happiness didn't quite include me. 2 weeks pass, 2 weeks of Ethan leaving early and coming home late. 2 weeks of him talking about doctor this and resident that. Names I don't recognize. People I'll never meet. He's like a different person now. More confident, more polished. He holds himself straighter, speaks more carefully. Even his laugh sounds different. More controlled. I got invited to a barbecue this weekend, he tells me over dinner one Thursday night. We're eating pasta from a box because it's all we can afford, but he's talking about it like it's the most important news in the world. That's nice, I say. Where? Dr. Richardson's house. He lives out in Winnetka, big place on the lake. Ethan twirls spaghetti around his fork like he's practicing for fancier dinners. All the residents will be there. Some of the attendings, too. Sounds like fun. Yeah, it should be. He pauses. It's mostly a networking thing, though. You know how these medical people are. They talk shop constantly. I set down my fork. You're not taking me. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. I stand up and start clearing the table, even though I'm not finished eating. It's fine, Ethan. I get it. You don't get it, actually. There's an edge to his voice now. Irritation. This isn't about you. This is about my career. These people are going to determine my future. And I'm going to hurt your future somehow. You're going to be uncomfortable. These people. They're different from us. They went to Ivy League schools. They vacation in Europe. They talk about things you don't know anything about. The words hit me like a slap. Not just because they're cruel, but because they're probably true. I didn't go to college. I've never left Illinois. I don't know anything about wine or art or the stock market. So, what am I supposed to do? I ask. Wait here while you go live your real life? It's not forever, he says. Once I get established, things will be different. You keep saying that, but what if they're not? What if this is just who you are now? Ethan stands up too. He's taller than me, and for the first time in our relationship, I notice how he uses that height. How he looks down at me like I'm a child who doesn't understand grown-up things. Maybe that would be a good thing, he says quietly. What does that mean? Maybe it's time I started acting like the person I'm going to become instead of the person I used to be. The kitchen goes very quiet. The refrigerator hums. A car honks outside. Normal sounds in a moment that doesn't feel normal at all. And who are you going to become? I ask. Someone important. Someone who matters. Someone who doesn't have to worry about money or what other people think. Someone who's ashamed of where he came from? I'm not ashamed of where I came from. I'm just not going to let it define me anymore. But I came from the same place he did. Maybe not exactly the same. His family had money. Mine didn't. But we both grew up in Chicago. We both know what it's like to work for everything you get. Except now he's acting like that's something to escape instead of something to be proud of. I'm going for a walk, I say. Naomi, don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I just need some air. I grab my jacket and leave before he can stop me. The evening air is cool against my face. Spring in Chicago, when the city starts to wake up from winter. I walk for blocks without paying attention to where I'm going. Past the corner store where Ethan and I buy our groceries. Past the park where we had our first real conversation 3 years ago. Past the bus stop where I wait every morning to go to work. My work, my life. The things that aren't important enough for his new world. I end up at Carmen's apartment without planning to. She takes one look at my face and pulls me inside. What happened? I tell her everything. About the barbecue I'm not invited to. About how I don't understand important things. About how Ethan wants to become someone new. Carmen listens without interrupting. When I'm finished, she hands me a cup of tea and sits down across from me. "Naomi," she says gently, "what are you doing?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, why are you fighting so hard to be with someone who clearly doesn't want you there?" "He does want me. He's just confused right now. All these changes are happening so fast." "Honey, listen to yourself. You're making excuses for a man who's embarrassed to be seen with you." "He's not embarrassed. He's protecting me." "From what? From meeting his friends? From being part of his life?" Carmen leans forward. "That's not protection, Naomi. That's hiding." I want to argue with her. I want to defend Ethan and our relationship and all the sacrifices we've made together. But the words won't come. Because deep down, I know she's right. "What am I supposed to do?" I whisper. "You're supposed to demand better. You're supposed to be with someone who's proud to have you. Someone who wants to show you off, not hide you away. He'll come around, once he gets settled in his new job. And what if he doesn't? What if this is just who he is now? Are you going to spend the rest of your life waiting for him to decide you're good enough?" The question hangs in the air between us. I don't have an answer. I stay at Carmen's until almost midnight. When I finally go home, Ethan is already asleep. He's lying on his side, facing away from my side of the bed. I get ready for bed quietly and slip under the covers. In the dark, I can pretend everything is normal. I can pretend we're still the same people who used to stay up talking until dawn. The same people who used to dream about our future together. But when I reach out to touch his shoulder, he doesn't stir. And for the first time in 3 years, the space between us feels bigger than I can cross. Saturday comes, and Ethan gets ready for the barbecue like he's preparing for the most important day of his life. He showers for 20 minutes. He changes clothes 3 times. He practices conversations in the mirror. "How do I look?" he asks, modeling his final outfit. Khakis and a polo shirt that cost more than my weekly paycheck. "Perfect," I say. Because he does. He looks like he belongs with successful people in their expensive houses. He looks like someone I've never met before. "I'll probably be late," he says, checking his phone. These things tend to run long. "Okay." He kisses my forehead on his way out. A polite kiss, the kind you give your sister. After he leaves, I sit on our couch and try to figure out how I'm supposed to spend the day. I could clean the apartment, but it's already clean. I could read, but I can't concentrate. I could call Carmen, but I'm tired of talking about my problems. Instead, I do something I've never done before. I look up Dr. Richardson's address online. It's not hard to find. Rich people don't hide their addresses. They put them on charity websites and social media. They're proud of their big houses and perfect lives. His house is exactly what I expected. Huge and white, and sitting on a lot that's bigger than my entire neighborhood. I can see the lake from the street. I can hear music and laughter from the backyard. I sit in my car across the street for almost an hour. I tell myself I'm not spying. I'm just curious. I want to see the world Ethan is trying so hard to join. People come and go. Expensive cars in the circular driveway. Men in polo shirts and women in sundresses that probably cost more than my rent. Everyone looks relaxed and confident and beautiful. At one point, I see Ethan through the gate to the backyard. He's talking to an older man with gray hair and a kind smile. Dr. Richardson, probably. Ethan is gesturing with his hands the way he does when he's excited about something. He looks happy. Genuinely happy in a way I haven't seen in weeks. That's when I notice the woman standing next to him. Blonde hair, perfect teeth, clothes that actually fit properly. She's laughing at something Ethan said, her hand resting lightly on his arm. My stomach drops. Not because I think he's cheating, Not exactly, but because of how natural they look together. How easy and comfortable and right. She belongs in this world in a way I never could. I start my car and drive home before anyone can see me sitting there like some kind of stalker. But I can't stop thinking about that woman's hand on Ethan's arm. About how relaxed he looked talking to her. About how he's never looked that relaxed talking to me anymore. When he comes home that night, he's buzzing with excitement. "It was amazing," he says, loosening his tie. "Dr. Richardson introduced me to everyone. I met the chief of cardiology, the head of pediatrics, even some people from the hospital board." "That's wonderful," I say. "Did you have fun?" "More than fun. It was educational. These people know things, Naomi. They understand how the world really works." "What do you mean?" "I mean, there's a whole level of society I never knew existed. People who don't just work for money. They make money work for them. People who vacation in places I can't even pronounce." He's talking fast, the way he does when he's excited. But there's something different about his excitement now. Something that doesn't include me. "Meet anyone interesting?" I ask carefully. "A few people. There was this woman, Marissa. She's finishing her MBA at Northwestern. Really smart. Her father owns some big investment firm downtown. Marissa, the blonde woman with the perfect teeth. She sounds nice. She is. She was telling me about this charity gala next month. $500 a plate, but it's for children's cancer research. Really important cause." $500 a plate? I know it sounds like a lot, but these people think nothing of spending that much on a good cause. It's all about perspective. $500 is more than I make in 2 weeks at the diner. But to Ethan, it's becoming just another number. Just another part of his new world. "Are you thinking of going?" I ask. He pauses. "Maybe. If I can swing it financially." "We could swing it financially, you mean?" "Right, of course. But he doesn't sound like he means it. He sounds like he's already decided, and the decision doesn't really include me. That night, I lie awake listening to Ethan breathe beside me. He's sleeping peacefully, probably dreaming about charity galas and important people and his bright future. I stare at the ceiling and try to remember when I started feeling like a guest in my own relationship. When I started feeling like something Ethan needed to manage instead of someone he wanted to love. The answer comes to me in the dark, clear and painful and true. The moment he got that acceptance letter, the moment his future became real, that's when everything changed. That's when I stopped being part of his dreams and started being part of his past. The phone call comes on a Tuesday morning while I'm getting ready for work. Ethan's already gone. He's been leaving earlier and coming home later every week. I barely see him anymore except when he's asleep. "Naomi?" It's my mother, and her voice sounds strange. Tight. "Mom? What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong, baby. I ran into Mrs. Patterson at the grocery store yesterday. You remember her? She cleans offices downtown." "I remember Mrs. Patterson. She's been friends with my mother for years. She told me something that's been bothering me all night," Mom continues. "She was working late at one of those fancy office buildings, and she saw Ethan coming out of a restaurant with some white girl. Real cozy looking," she said. My stomach drops. "When was this?" "Last Thursday night around 10 o'clock. Last Thursday, the night Ethan said he was working late at the hospital. The night he came home smelling like expensive perfume and wine." "Maybe it was just work," I say weakly. "He has a lot of colleagues now." "Baby." Mom's voice is gentle. "Mrs. Patterson said they were holding hands." The words hit me like cold water. I sit down hard on our bed, still holding the phone. "I'm sorry to be the one to tell you," Mom says, "but I couldn't let you keep walking around blind." After we hang up, I sit in the quiet apartment for a long time. The morning light streams through our yellow curtains, making everything look cheerful and normal. But nothing feels normal anymore. I call in sick to work. I've never done that before, not in 2 years of working at the diner, but I can't face serving eggs and coffee and pretending everything is fine. Instead, I spend the day going through our apartment like a detective, looking for evidence, looking for proof that my life is falling apart. I find it in Ethan's coat pocket. A receipt from Chez Laurent, the French restaurant downtown, the expensive one where reservations take weeks to get. Dated last Thursday. 2 dinners, 2 glasses of wine, 1 crème brûlée to share. The crème brûlée breaks my heart more than anything else. It's romantic, intimate, the kind of dessert you share with someone you're trying to impress. When Ethan comes home that night, I'm sitting at our kitchen table with the receipt in front of me. He sees it immediately. His face goes white, then red, then carefully blank. Where did you find that? Your coat pocket. My voice sounds calm, which surprises me. I thought I'd be crying or screaming by now. Last Thursday, the night you were working late. He sits down across from me. For a long moment, neither of us speaks. I can explain, he finally says. Can you? It's not what you think. What do I think, Ethan? He runs his hand through his hair. You think I'm cheating on you. Are you? Another long pause. It's complicated. No, it's not. It's actually very simple. Are you sleeping with someone else? Not exactly. What does that mean? It means things have gotten confused lately. With Marissa. We've been spending time together, and feelings developed, but nothing physical has happened. Nothing physical. Like that makes it better. Like emotional cheating is somehow more acceptable than the regular kind. How long? I ask. How long what? How long have you been in love with her? Ethan flinches. I'm not in love with her. But you're not in love with me anymore either. He doesn't answer, which is an answer all by itself. She understands my world, he says quietly. She knows what I'm going through. The pressure, the expectations. She gets it in a way that I don't. You're a good person, Naomi. You're kind and loyal and hardworking. But we're in different places now. We want different things. We used to want the same things. I've changed. My priorities have changed. What I need in a partner has changed. The words are like knives, but they're also honest. More honest than Ethan has been in months. What you need is someone rich and white and educated, I say. That's not fair. Isn't it? Someone who fits into your new life? Someone you're not embarrassed to be seen with? Ethan's jaw tightens. You're making this about race. You made it about race the first time you didn't invite me to dinner with your parents. My parents have nothing to do with this. Your parents have everything to do with this. I stand up, suddenly angry. They never liked me. They never thought I was good enough for you. And you know what? You agreed with them. That's not true. Then why am I sitting here alone every night while you wine and dine some rich girl? Why don't I know any of your new friends? Why do you look embarrassed every time someone asks about your girlfriend? Ethan doesn't have an answer for that. I supported you for 3 years, I continue. I worked double shifts so you could study. I ate ramen noodles so you could have decent clothes. I gave up everything for your dreams, and the second you didn't need me anymore, you started looking for someone better. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me, Ethan. Help me understand how 3 years of love and sacrifice just disappear. He's quiet for a long time. When he finally speaks, his voice is tired. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm becoming someone new, someone better. And I need a partner who can grow with me. And I can't. Can you? Can you learn to feel comfortable at charity galas and medical conferences? Can you make conversation with people who own yachts and summer houses? Can you be the kind of wife a successful doctor needs? The question hangs in the air between us. He's asking me to change everything about myself, to become someone I'm not and never wanted to be. What if I don't want to be that person? I ask. Then we have a problem. We stare at each other across our small kitchen table. 3 years of love reduced to a problem to be solved. I think, I say slowly, you've already solved it. The next morning, I wake up alone. Ethan's side of the bed is empty and cold. I can hear him moving around in the kitchen, but he doesn't call out good morning like he used to. I get dressed slowly and find him sitting at the table with coffee and his phone. He's still in his pajamas, but he looks perfectly put together somehow, like he's been practicing his new sophisticated image even at home. We need to talk, he says without looking up from his screen. Okay. I've been thinking about what you said last night, about us wanting different things now. I pour myself coffee and sit down across from him. My hand shakes slightly as I lift the mug. I think, he continues, we should take some time apart, figure out what we both want. Time apart? A trial separation. Nothing permanent. Just some space to think. But we both know that's not what this is. This isn't a trial separation. This is Ethan's way of ending our relationship without having to say the words. For how long? I ask. I don't know. A few months maybe. Until we both have some clarity. And in the meantime, you'll keep seeing Marissa? He has the grace to look uncomfortable. I need to explore what this thing with her could be. I owe it to myself to find out. What about what you owe me? I'll always care about you, Naomi. You know that. But I can't keep pretending we're the same people we were 3 years ago. I can't keep holding both of us back from what we're meant to become. What we're meant to become. Like our relationship was just a phase he had to grow out of. When do you want me to move out? I ask. You don't have to move out right away. Take your time. Find a place you like. I'll help with the security deposit. His generosity feels like pity, like he's throwing money at the problem to make himself feel better about breaking my heart. I'll be out by the weekend, I tell him. Relief flickers across his face before he hides it behind fake concern. Are you sure? That doesn't give you much time to find something decent. I'll figure it out. He nods and goes back to his phone. Just like that, 3 years of my life become a logistics problem to solve. I spend the rest of the morning packing. I don't have much. Most of the nice things in our apartment belong to Ethan or his parents. I fill 2 suitcases and a few boxes with clothes, books, and the small personal items that feel like mine. The yellow curtains stay. They were supposed to make this place feel like home, but home was never really the apartment. It was supposed to be us. I move back in with my mother. She doesn't ask questions, just clears out her sewing room and helps me make up the daybed. She makes my favorite dinner, fried chicken and green beans, and we eat in comfortable silence. You want to talk about it? She asks as we clean up. Not yet. Okay, baby, when you're ready. That night, I lie in my childhood bedroom and try to figure out how I'm supposed to start over at 29. How I'm supposed to rebuild a life that just got torn apart. My phone buzzes with a text from Ethan. Hope you're settling in okay. Let me know if you need anything. I delete it without responding. The next few weeks pass in a blur. I work double shifts at the diner to keep busy. I look at apartment listings online, searching for something I can afford on my salary alone. Everything decent costs twice what I can pay. Carmen stops by one evening with Chinese takeout and gossip. Margie saw Ethan at the grocery store yesterday, she says, unpacking containers of lo mein. He was with some blonde girl. She said they looked real comfortable together. Her name is Marissa, I say. She's getting her MBA. You don't sound upset. I think about that. I think I'm too tired to be upset, Does that make sense? Perfect sense. You gave that man everything you had. Now you're empty. What am I supposed to do now? Carmen hands me chopsticks and sits down beside me on my mother's couch. You're going to remember who you were before him. You're going to figure out what you want instead of what he wanted. You're going to build a life that's yours. I don't even know where to start. Start small. What's one thing you always wanted to do but couldn't because you were too busy supporting his dreams? I think about that for a long time. I used to want to work in a hospital, I finally say. Not as a doctor or anything fancy, but something that mattered, something that helped people. So, do that. I don't have the education. I don't have the qualifications. Then get them. It sounds impossible. Going back to school at 29, learning new skills, starting over from nothing. But impossible things happen every day. Ethan taught me that, even if he didn't mean to. If he can become a doctor, maybe I can become something more than a waitress at a diner. Maybe I can become someone who doesn't need rescuing. 2 months after I move out, the divorce papers arrive. Ethan has them delivered to the diner during my lunch shift. Professional and efficient, just like everything else about his new life. I sign them in the back office, next to boxes of ketchup packets and industrial-sized cans of green beans. The pen feels heavy in my hand. Marcus pokes his head in as I'm finishing. You okay, honey? Yeah, I say, surprising myself by meaning it. I think I am. That afternoon, I stop by the community college on my way home from work. The admissions office is small and cramped, nothing like the fancy buildings where Ethan studied. But the woman behind the desk is kind and patient as I ask questions about programs and prerequisites and financial aid. Hospital administration is a good field, she tells me. Steady work, decent pay, room for advancement. You'd start with some basic business classes, maybe some healthcare fundamentals. How long would it take? For an associate degree? 2 years if you go full-time, 3 or 4 if you work around your schedule. 3 or 4 years. It seems like forever and no time at all. I take the application packet home and fill it out that night at my mother's kitchen table. The same table where I used to do homework as a kid, dreaming about my future. Funny how some dreams die and others just take longer to bloom. When I mail the application the next morning, I feel something I haven't felt in months. Hope. 3.5 years later, I'm walking through the halls of Northwestern Memorial Hospital with a clipboard in my hand and purpose in my step. The badge clipped to my navy blazer reads, Naomi Carter, Senior Operations Coordinator. It still surprises me sometimes, seeing my name with those words underneath. Senior Operations Coordinator. It sounds important because it is important. I manage scheduling for 3 departments, coordinate with insurance companies, and help families navigate the complicated world of hospital billing and procedures. I'm good at it. Really good at it. The morning light streams through the tall windows as I make my way to the weekly department meeting. My heels click against the polished floors. Not expensive heels, but professional ones that I bought for myself with my own money. Money I earned with my degree, my skills, my worth. Morning, Naomi, calls Dr. Sarah Chen as she passes in the hallway. She's one of the pediatric surgeons, and we've worked together on several difficult cases. How's your morning looking? Busy but manageable, I reply. You? Same. I'll catch you later. I want your input on that new patient intake protocol. My input. A doctor wants my professional opinion because she values what I have to say. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. The meeting room is already half full when I arrive. I take my usual seat near the window and review my notes. Today we're discussing staffing changes and upcoming policy updates. Normal Tuesday morning business. Dr. Helen Brooks, the hospital director, walks in right at 8 o'clock. She's a small woman with silver hair and sharp eyes who's been running this place for 15 years. I've learned a lot from watching her. How to be firm without being harsh. How to command respect without demanding it. Good morning, everyone, she says, settling into her chair at the head of the long table. Let's get started. First item on the agenda is physician applications for the fall intake. I half listen as she goes through the preliminary numbers. 23 applications for 4 positions, all highly qualified candidates from prestigious medical schools, the usual competitive pool. Naomi, I'll need you to coordinate the interview schedules, Dr. Brooks says, and I make a note on my pad. Of course. When do you want to start? Next week, if possible. I'll have the complete candidate list to you by Thursday. The meeting continues for another 40 minutes. Budget discussions, staffing updates, new equipment approvals. The kind of administrative work that keeps a hospital running smoothly. Work that matters, even if it's not glamorous. After the meeting, I walk back to my office. My own office with a window and a door that closes. It's small, but it's mine. The walls are decorated with my college diploma, a photo of my mother at my graduation, and a small plant that Carmen gave me when I got promoted. I'm reviewing insurance authorizations when my computer chimes with a new email. The subject line reads, Fall Physician Applications, Complete List. I open the attachment without thinking much about it. Just another task in my day. I scroll through the names, making mental notes about scheduling and room assignments. And then I see it. Ethan Whitmore, MD. The name jumps off the page like it's written in neon lights. I blink. Sure, I'm seeing things. But no, it's definitely there. His name, his medical school, his graduation date, everything official and professional. My hands start shaking. Not a lot, just enough to make me set down my coffee mug before I spill it. Ethan is applying to work here. At my hospital, at the place where I've built my new life, my career, my sense of self-worth. I close the email and stare out my office window for a few minutes. The view isn't much, just the parking garage across the street. But it helps me think. 4 years. It's been 4 years since I signed those divorce papers. 4 years since I moved out of our apartment and into my mother's house. 4 years since my world fell apart, and I had to build it back up piece by piece. I wonder what happened. Why isn't he working somewhere fancy and prestigious? Why is he applying for a position at a public hospital instead of joining his father's golf buddies at some exclusive private practice? Not that it matters. This is just a coincidence. A weird, uncomfortable coincidence that I'll have to deal with professionally. I reopen the email and print out the candidate list. Ethan's name looks normal on paper, just another applicant among 23 others. I can handle this like an adult. I can be professional. The interviews are scheduled for the following week. I spend Friday afternoon organizing conference rooms, coordinating with department heads, and making sure everything runs smoothly. Ethan's interview is scheduled for Tuesday at 2 p.m. with Dr. Brooks, Dr. Martinez from Emergency Medicine, and Dr. Patel from Internal Medicine. Standard panel interview for a standard applicant. I tell myself I won't hang around that day. I'll schedule meetings elsewhere, find other things to do. No reason to torture myself by catching a glimpse of my ex-husband. But Tuesday comes, and I'm still in the building at 1:45 p.m. I'm in the break room getting coffee when I hear familiar voices in the hallway. Dr. Whitmore, right this way, please. My chest tightens. I know I shouldn't look, but I can't help myself. I step closer to the break room doorway and peer out carefully. There he is. Ethan looks older, still handsome, but there's something different about him. His confidence seems forced, his smile a little too bright. His suit is expensive but not perfectly tailored. His hair is shorter, more conservative. He looks like someone trying very hard to make a good impression. Thank you, he says to the administrative assistant leading him down the hall. I really appreciate this opportunity. His voice is the same. That's what gets to me. After all these years, after all the changes, he still sounds exactly like the man who used to whisper, "Good morning," against my shoulder. I duck back into the break room and wait until their footsteps fade. Then I sit down at one of the small tables and try to process what I just saw. He looked nervous. Ethan, who used to be so confident about his bright future, looked like a man who needed this job. I wonder what happened to all those important connections. All those networking events and charity galas. All those people who were supposed to open doors for him. Maybe some doors are harder to open than they appear. The interview lasts an hour and 20 minutes. I know because I keep checking my watch, even though I'm trying to focus on my work. At 3:25 p.m., I hear voices in the hallway again. The interview is over. Ethan is leaving. I force myself to stay in my office, typing up reports and returning phone calls. Normal work for a normal day. Nothing unusual happening at all. Except my hands are still shaking slightly, and I've read the same insurance form 3 times without comprehending it. Around 4 o'clock, Dr. Brooks stops by my office. "How did the afternoon interviews go?" I ask, trying to sound casual. "Mixed bag," she says, settling into the chair across from my desk. "A couple of strong candidates, a few that aren't quite right for us." She doesn't mention Ethan specifically, and I don't ask. "What about Dr. Whitmore?" The question slips out before I can stop it. Dr. Brooks raises an eyebrow. "You know him?" "We knew each other a long time ago. Before medical school." It's not exactly a lie. We did know each other. We were married, but that feels too complicated to explain right now. "Interesting," Dr. Brooks says. "What was your impression of him back then?" I choose my words carefully. Ambitious, focused on his career goals. Dr. Brooks nods slowly. That matches what I saw today. Very eager to please. Maybe a little too eager. "What do you mean?" He spent a lot of time talking about his connections, his family's history with the medical community. Less time talking about patient care, or why he wants to work here specifically. She pauses. I got the impression he views this position as temporary, a stepping stone to something better. That sounds like the Ethan I remember. Always looking ahead to the next opportunity, the next level up. "Are you going to offer him the position?" I ask. "I haven't decided yet. I want to review all the candidates before making final decisions." Dr. Brooks stands to leave, then pauses at my door. "Is there anything I should know about your history with Dr. Whitmore? Any conflicts of interest I should be aware of?" "No," I say quickly. "Nothing that would affect his candidacy or my ability to work with him professionally." She nods and leaves, but I can tell she's filing this conversation away for future reference. Dr. Brooks doesn't miss much. After she's gone, I sit back in my chair and close my eyes. This is really happening. Ethan might be working here, in my building, in my professional life. The life I built without him. I don't hear anything about hiring decisions for the rest of the week. Hospital administration moves slowly, especially for important positions. The candidate review process could take weeks. I try to put Ethan out of my mind and focus on my regular responsibilities. It's easier than I expected. 4 years of building a new life have given me plenty of other things to think about, like the patient advocacy program I'm helping to develop, like the efficiency improvements I suggested that are saving the hospital thousands of dollars every month, like the community outreach initiative I proposed that's bringing healthcare information to underserved neighborhoods. My life is full now. Full of work that matters, colleagues who respect me, goals that are mine alone. On Friday afternoon, I'm reviewing budget reports when my phone rings. "Naomi, it's Carmen. Are you sitting down?" "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong exactly. But girl, you are not going to believe who I just saw at the coffee shop downtown." My stomach drops. "Let me guess. Your ex-husband. And honey, he did not look good. I mean, he looked fine physically, but he seemed, I don't know, desperate. He was on his phone the whole time, making calls about job applications and references. Did he see you?" "No. I hid behind a newspaper like some kind of spy." "But Naomi, He looked nothing like the confident doctor who left you for that blonde girl. He looked like a man who's running out of options. After we hang up, I sit in my quiet office and try to figure out how I feel about this information. Part of me wants to feel vindicated. The man who thought he was too good for me, who traded me in for someone who fit his image better, is now struggling to find work. But mostly, I just feel sad. Sad for the dreams we used to share. Sad for the person he used to be before ambition and status changed him into someone I didn't recognize. And maybe a little sad for the person I used to be too. The woman who thought love meant making yourself smaller, so someone else could shine brighter. I'm not that woman anymore. Monday morning brings news. Dr. Brooks calls me into her office first thing. "I wanted to let you know before the official announcements go out," she says. "We've made our hiring decisions for the fall positions." Okay. Dr. Whitmore was not selected. I nod, trying to keep my expression neutral. May I ask why? Several reasons. His references were mixed, some very positive, others more reserved. His interview responses suggested he might view this position as temporary. And frankly, I had some concerns about his attitude toward staff. What kind of concerns? He was dismissive to Maria when she escorted him to the interview. Didn't acknowledge her when she introduced herself. Barely thanked her for her help. Small things, but they matter. How someone treats support staff tells you a lot about their character. Of course he was dismissive. That's who Ethan became. Someone who looks down on people he considers beneath him. People like who I used to be. I see, I say. I know you said your past relationship wouldn't affect your professional judgment, Dr. Brooks continues. But I want you to know that your input wasn't a factor in this decision. He simply wasn't the right fit for our team. I understand. Good. The candidates we did select will start next month. I'll need you to coordinate their orientation schedules. After our meeting, I walk back to my office feeling strangely empty. I should be relieved that I won't have to work with Ethan. I should be satisfied that his attitude finally caught up with him. Instead, I just feel tired. My computer chimes with a new email. The sender's name makes my heart skip. Ethan Whitmore. I stare at the message for a full minute before opening it. Naomi, I hope this email finds you well. I was surprised to learn that you work at Northwestern Memorial. I had no idea when I applied for the position there. I know this might be awkward given our history, but I was wondering if we could talk. I'd like to explain some things, apologize for others. Would you be willing to meet for coffee? Ethan. He found out I work here. Someone must have told him, or maybe he saw my name on the staff directory, and now he wants to talk. I read the email 3 more times, then delete it without responding. Some conversations belong in the past, where they can't hurt anyone anymore. But as I go back to my work, I can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. That seeing Ethan's name on that application list was just the beginning of something I'm not ready for. Something that might force me to face parts of my past I thought I'd buried for good. Outside my office window, the city hums with its usual activity. People going about their lives, pursuing their dreams, making their choices. I think about choices. About the ones that led Ethan and me to this moment. Him desperate for a job he didn't get. Me building a career I never expected to have. Life has a funny way of turning things upside down. And sometimes, just sometimes, the person who gets left behind ends up exactly where they were meant to be all along.